Hello. On behalf of my group, I will share to you the summarization of Chapter 8 in the Indigenous People Rights Act of 1997. In Section 51, it talks about measures that shall be taken in appropriate cases to safeguard the right of the ICC or IP concerned to land which may no longer be exclusively occupied by them, but to which they have traditionally had access for their subsistence and traditional activities, particularly of ICC or IPs who are still nomadic and or shifting cultivators. In Section 52, it introduces to us the delineation process that which consists of 11 procedures that talk about the identification and delineation of ancestral domains. In Section 53, it talks about the inherited ownership of the land by their ancestors and the rights on it. There are 7 ways to identify the delineation of ancestral lands. Section 54, it talks how they can request from the ICC or IPs to review existing claims which have been fraudulently acquired by any person or community. And according to this Section 54, any claim found to be fraudulently acquired by and issued to any person or community may be cancelled by the NCIP. NCIP stands for National Commission on Indigenous People. Section 55, it talks about the communal rights under this act. That this act shall not be construed as co-ownership as provided in Republic Act No. 386, otherwise known as the New Civil Code. In Section 56 to 58, talks about how these people can fight for their rights and how this law can be used and how it works. In Section 59, it talks about certificate precondition in which this certificate can only be issued after a field-based investigation is conducted by the Ancestral Domain Office. In Section 60, it talks about the exemption from taxes. It's stated on the section that all lands certified to be ancestral domains shall be exempt from real property taxes, special levies, and other form of exaction. In Section 61, it talks about the temporary recreation powers. It's stated on the section the NCIP is hereby authorized to request the Department of Environment and Natural Resources survey teams as well as other equally capable private survey teams through a memorandum of agreement to delineate ancestral domain perimeters. In Section 62, it talks about the resolution of conflicts. It's stated on this section that the NCIP shall hear and decided whenever there are adverse claims within this ancestral domain as delineated in the survey plan and which cannot be resolved. In Section 63, it talks about applicable laws. It's stated on this section that customary laws, traditions, and practices of the ICC or IPs of the land where the conflict arises shall be applied first with respect to property rights, claims and ownerships, hereditary succession and settlement of land disputes. Any doubt or ambiguity in the application and interpretation of laws shall be resolved in favor of the ICC or IPs. In Section 64, it talks about remedial measures. It's stated on this section that the NCIP shall take appropriate legal action for the cancellation of officially documented titles which were acquired illegally, provided the such procedure shall ensure that the rights of possessors in good faith shall be respected, provided further that the action for cancellation shall be initiated within 2 years from the effectivity of this act, provided finally that the action for conveyance shall be within a period of 10 years in accordance with existing laws. To sum up all this section from this chapter will help IPs to have the right to own, to have the right to develop, control, and to have the right to use lands and natural resources. In this law, IPs or indigenous people can avoid any conflict or violence that will occur in the future if they encounter a situation that other people claiming their lands. Example in this picture, the large company claiming the lands of the indigenous people. It will avoided because of this law. That's all and thank you for watching.